I've completely just went silent on social media because I feel so taken advantage. I just feel so dirty from it all that I just don't want any part. So I'd rather be invisible.
Naked and intimate images of a Las Vegas woman shared hundreds of times on social media. Police say her former boyfriend violated our state's revenge porn law. And did that get her any justice? Well, it's a case our 8 News Now I-team started following nearly 2 years ago.
And tonight, the victim is speaking exclusively with our David Charnes, saying her reputation is ruined while her ex-boyfriend gets a slap on the wrist.
Donald Amick leaves court with a year of probation and an order to stay off social media.
I will never be the person that I was before.
But this woman, who's asked us to hide her face, says she's sentenced for life.
I never have that secure feeling.
A life without privacy because of the naked photos Amick posted of her online.
How many photos and videos do you think there were?
Thousands.
She brought that claim to police, who say they found hundreds of images shared without consent. This report obtained by the 8 News Now I-team says Amick not only took nude photographs and videos, but posed as his ex-girlfriend under the name of Ashley, messaging random men and sending them her nude photographs.
You have an underlying trust that nothing will happen.
In all, according to court documents, police suspected Amick shared hundreds of nude and private photos of her alone. 48 images where her face was, quote, readily identifiable. With 48 images, they suggested 48 charges of unlawful dissemination of an intimate image. That's 48 felonies.
There was just so many accounts, fake people he pretended to be.
Metro Police filed a warrant for Amick's arrest in February 2021 under Nevada's revenge porn law. Police picking him up in his home state of Missouri that April. By then, the charges were reduced to 5 counts of unlawful dissemination of an intimate image. A judge initially setting bail at $5,000, but later agreed to let Amick go on his own recognizance. While awaiting his trial, Amick's ex-girlfriend says she received phone calls from random men and escort companies.
Just wanted to check in with you on that.
Working in the service industry, she feared being alone in a room with a stranger.
Because is it the person that found me and reached out to me and now they know where I work? Is this going to be the moment?
In 2015, the Nevada Attorney General's office pushed the legislature to pass the revenge porn law.
The person acted with the intent to annoy, harass, terrorize, or alarm the person who is in the photo.
Senior Deputy Attorney General Laura Tucker testifying before a legislative committee that year.
What were you thinking that the state statute should say for penalties?
What I was hoping for, and what I think the law does ultimately achieve, is give us the ability to have something to point to say, you know, this was a violation of our laws.
But a sentence or a plea isn't up to the Attorney General's office. It's up to prosecutors and judges. In Amick's case, even though prosecutors had accused him of sharing those intimate images, he agreed to a deal with a new charge: attempted unlawful dissemination of an intimate image. 1 gross misdemeanor charge, 1 year of probation.
I've completely just went silent on social media because I feel so taken advantage. I just feel so dirty from it all that I just don't want any part. So I'd rather be invisible.
The judge also ordering Amick to stay off social media for a year, something his ex-girlfriend has chosen to do. Chosen to, she says, because of someone else's actions.
So did this law work?
No, absolutely not. And that's what's the point of it if it's not changing and it's not helping any of the victims.
The Clark County District Attorney's Office declined an interview for our story, but said there were issues with evidence in the case and that, like with every case, they could have taken it to trial, to a jury, and then lost everything. Denise and Brian, I also reached out to the judge who presided over that plea deal giving Donald Amick probation, and a court spokesperson told me that it would be, quote, inappropriate for him to comment on that matter.
All right, so then it just sounds like, do the judges have some sort of discretion when it comes to sentencing these cases?
So a plea deal like this one, no. But a lot of times, you know, in a murder case, a judge might say, or a prosecutor might agree to a plea deal of like 8 to 20-year sentence, and the judge can pick in that range. So there was no leeway here because of that deal where they said you'll get probation for that attempted charge.
And David, if there was no deal, what would the sentence have been?
So this is a Category D felony, that revenge porn law. So that would have been at a maximum of 4 years in prison with a fine. But when the AG's office tried to push this through 7 years ago, they actually wanted it to be a Category C felony, which would be a little more time and $10,000. But as we see here, anything can be pleaded down, and it's really up to lawyers and prosecutors. And sometimes, like we saw here, the judge has no say in what happens.
Wow.
Great reporting, David.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.